folks. Welcome back to another episode of Accessible Daily Living on the Disability Channel. Today we have Miss Mary DeRose of DeRose Personal Injury Lawyers here today to give us all the information on the personal injury industry. Sorry, that's a tongue twister, and everything that she does to provide services to her clients at the firm. So before we even get on to Mary, I'm just going to go over a few exciting uh, new events that are happening. We're going to have our showroom is opening up at the Accessible Daily Living in the new year. I'll keep everyone posted on social media as to when we're going to have our open house. If you want to attend, just contact us at info@accessibledailyliving.com after we provide you the information with regards to the open house. Also, ADL is working on the very first accredited aging in place specialist program. We will keep you up to date on that program. We're working with a lot of a few community partners, on bringing that course to fruition so that we can educate the masses, professionals, anybody from a property manager, insurance broker, a real estate agent, pharmacist, a financial advisor at a bank on how to engage and support a member society who is aging, how to keep them at home. We have this aging in place concept that is being endorsed by all levels of government, and it's our obligation to educate and make sure that they are able to service people in the community. Professionals are able to service these clients and making sure that they stay at home, that they're safe, that they're able to engage their home environment in a safe manner without worrying about hurting themselves, and having their families, our caregivers, happy with that and feeling safe. So that's what's coming down the pipeline for ADL. Guys, watch us today live on Roku. If you need to follow us too, go on Twitter. We're at TD Channel 1, at Living ADL on the Accessible Daily Living Twitter feed. On Facebook, ADL's got their Facebook feed through the Disability Channel and through our own. Follow us, keep in contact with us, and right after this break, we'll be back with Mary DeRose of Personal Injury Lawyers. Thank you, guys. We'll see you in a bit.
Hey guys, I'm Greg Westlake, captain of the Canadian National Sledge Hockey Team, here to talk to you real quickly about Bring Back the Game by TaylorMade and Adidas, brought to you by Talk Kierstad. Listen, everybody, whether you're in school, whatever sport you're playing, you want a teacher that has passion, somebody that shows up, looks you in the eye, and wants to make you better. Todd's that guy. In the U.S., 1 out of every 6 golfers gives it up due to some sort of mental or physical impairment. We think that's ridiculous. Todd's going to fix that number, and he's going to make it skyrocket. I'm missing both my feet. I saw today somebody that had a stroke, people that had mental difficulties. Todd worked with them all individually, gave them the perfect care that they needed, and made them better. I fully support this program. If he's doing an event near you, please come out, get on the course, let's bring back the game.
Such a good one. Cheers, man. Easy enough. Thank you, guys. I'll do it. We've done this before. So me and him, we work together. That'll play, boy. That will play.
Oh my God.
Gentlemen, you guys have yourselves a great day.
Please, thank you. See you again.
And we are back. Before I get to Mary, happy holidays to everyone. I hope the new year brings you guys an amazing time of health, happiness, and success. And today, without further ado, I have Mary DeRose of DeRose Personal Injury Lawyers with me. Mary, welcome, and thank you for showing up today, especially going close to the New Year's.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. So, Mary, before I get any deeper into the world of personal injury, let's talk a little bit about you. You know, how did you get to being a top flight personal injury lawyer?
I was raised in the business, John. My father, lucky enough, had a prominent accident benefits business, and he established himself in a law firm, and then went on and opened up on his own, and I grew an interest by working there every summer after high school, summer break, university, and I was raised within there too, sort of, and I grew to have a love for what he did.
That's amazing. So needless to say, instead of going out with your friends for events, whatever, Dad had you in the office, probably filing, doing stuff for him so that you can engage. That's amazing. So I see this as a more of a family type business. So is there anybody else involved? Is it you and your dad? Any other family members?
There's myself, my sister, who's also a lawyer, and my father, who's a paralegal.
That's awesome. So it's a tripod, the base of a very strong firm. Now, where are you guys located? And I know you guys just recently opened another office. Now, you guys are located in the GTA. Where's your primary office?
So our primary office is at Keel and Finch. We're at 1280 Finch Avenue West in the Norarm Tower there. On the 5th floor, we're actually right at the corner of Keel and Finch near York University.
Oh, that's amazing. So you guys also have a satellite office or another office that just recently opened?
Yeah, we do. We have an office in Stony Creek in Hamilton. So we often go up there once or twice a week to service clients up there that are in need.
So you guys obviously, I mean, it's a far cry from, at least a far distance in terms of going from Keel and Finch in the North York area all the way to Stony Creek. What did you guys find? What was your appeal of opening up another office in the Stony Creek area specifically?
Well, we just felt there was a need up there. There was a large community that could use the services that we provide, and we just felt that it was the right place to be in, and so we decided to open up there.
Oh, that's great. So from my perspective, I mean, obviously where I come in, and for the folks at home, I've already mentioned, I used to work in the insurance industry as an adjuster. So I used to go up against Mary and her staff. So from that perspective, I say it with a smile because it's always difficult. She may be a pint-sized smaller individual, but she packs a punch. So it's always interesting going up against DeRose lawyers because we always have to be prepared to make sure we had our T's crossed, our I's dotted, and our periods in every sentence. So to make sure that we were Mary, from your perspective, I mean, you're young enough, but you've been around the industry long enough because of your experience in that, you've seen a lot of changes in this industry from the legislation and from components. What's changed from professional experience? Not that what have you seen that's changed from your perspective that really has affected how you look at the business today?
Well, John, when I first started, there were, there's the statutory accident benefits, which still exist today. And these benefits, at first, when I first started, there were a lot more benefits available to injured people. And then slowly, with years, these benefits with legislative changes became less and less. And it's unfortunate the public is not always aware of these changes, and it affects their insurance policies, right? So they really need to sort of speak to their insurance brokers and see what it is that's changed and what was once an automatic benefit following a motor vehicle accident that's now no longer an automatic benefit, but something that in fact you have to purchase and buy up within your policy. And again, it depends on each individual circumstance, right?
So from your experience, your ability or the ability for a client these days to have access to those funds is no longer the same. There's been a drastic, from what I hear, there's been a drastic change in the entitlement or the eligibility potential for benefits for someone involved in motor vehicle accident.
That's correct. For example, depending on someone's circumstances, if it's an individual that was working and can no longer work, there's certain benefits that they're called an income replacement benefit that they may be entitled to, which has changed slightly, but it still exists. There's for individuals that are elderly or students, we call them non-earners, there's a non-earner benefit that has also changed. significantly. There's also the caregiver benefit, which used to be an automatic benefit. If, for example, someone was involved in a car accident and could no longer take care of their young children, at one point the caregiver benefit was there, and the insurance would pay for that benefit for someone's inability to care for their own children. Now that benefit, for example, is no longer an automatic. You would have to purchase that benefit as part of your auto policy. Rehab, for example, the amount of treatment that one gets, that's also been changed quite significantly. People are now placed in categories. You hear terms like the minor injury, and what does that mean? Well, it's basically a number. There's a $3,500 cap in treatment now that some people most people fall into this category. We used to have $100,000, for example, in Rehab, and that was also taken away and reduced now to $50,000. And now it's not just Rehab, but it's physiotherapy Rehab type, with also coupled with attendant care, whereas before attendant care would have its own set of benefits. So it's changed quite significantly, and it's reduced a lot of the benefits that are available to accident victims.
So what we have here is we used to have different pots, all now put into one pot, and it all depends on what you need, and you just pick out of the pot. If you need some money for attendant care, then so be it. If you need some money for Rehab, it all comes from the same source right now. This is what you're saying to me with the benefit changes. Am I correct?
Yes, it all comes, and it's so important for people to really speak to their brokers and take a look at your policy, and see what you have and what you don't have. And when it's up for renewal, speak to your broker about what certain things that you have to buy up. For example, if you need a caregiver benefit, something that you would have to purchase up. For the Rehab, in order to be entitled to at least $130,000, you need to purchase that up. Otherwise, it's $3,500 or $50,000. $3,500 really. There is a way that you can branch out of that $3,500, but it's only for individuals that either suffer a psychological component following a motor vehicle accident, or someone with a significant pre-existing condition, which would then warrant them being moved from the $3,500 and placed into the $50,000 category for Rehab.
Hey, you bring up 2 points about purchasing and optional. Folks, with our benefits, we have an opportunity to purchase further coverage in order to compensate for the changes to the legislation that happened most recently earlier on this year. It was June? Was it June?
I believe it was June.
Okay, so from that perspective, talk to your broker. Mary brings up a great point. Talk to your insurance brokers. Ask them questions, because Mary, if I'm not mistaken, the cost of purchasing optional benefits, is it a lot of money? I know it ranges from region to region, like whether you're purchasing in Caledon versus Brampton versus Toronto, the GTA. Obviously, our premiums vary. Is it a significant amount of money to purchase up and get optional benefits? It's
not, John. It's not at all. Sometimes you're dealing with a couple of dollars, really, and it's well worth spending the money. Another example, we had housekeeping that used to be an available benefit for people that couldn't get back to maintaining their homes following a car accident. That used to be an automatic. If you needed the service, you'd pay somebody $100 a week. 100 was a cap, and the insurance would reimburse you for that out-of-pocket expense. Now you have to buy that up. It's no longer available.
And folks, I'm telling you, from personal experience, my brother and my brother-in-law. My brother called me. He's living in the Ottawa area region, and he asked me, he's like, John, what do I do? And they're both him. He's self-employed to an extent, and my sister-in-law works for someone, and he's looking like, what do I need to do? And I said, look, you're in the Ottawa region. You're probably going to get better premium amounts than most other people. And literally, it cost him for the entire year an extra, I think it was $117, and that got him topped up. If you divided that by 12, you're looking at $10 a month extra for getting topped up for that. My brother-in-law too, him and my sister-in-law, was unemployed at one point, staying at home, taking care of kids, and he was self-employed. And those are the couples, right, Mary, that should be going out and getting full coverage, because if they don't have any coverage elsewhere, we can talk about income replacement benefits. So it is 70% of your gross at a maximum of $400 a week. So if you're making $1,000 a week and you don't have optional benefits, I hate to tell you, you're only making $400 a week and you're losing 60% of your net income. That's a drastic drop for someone who's relying on income in order to pay, especially if you're the sole provider of your family. Making that $1,500 a week and you're going down to 400. Mary, I mean, you must have stories where that has detrimentally affected your clients in regards to their ability to live life and just pay for the necessities, mortgage, food, utilities.
It has. It's a significant effect on families, and you don't realize it until you're in it, which is why it's so important to, again, make sure that you have full coverage. There's also, in Ontario, we... if you're not at fault for an accident, you're eligible to sue for what you call pain and suffering and loss of earning capacity. Again, if you're unable to return to work following serious injuries resulting from a car accident, it's not an automatic right. Being not at fault is just one of the criteria that needs to be met. But there's also a test in the law that you have to meet. And if you do meet that test, which is a permanent and serious impairment of an important physical or psychological function, then you're eligible to, bring an action in Ontario against the driver that caused the injuries. And if you are at a loss, John, you were mentioning before about the $400 cap. If you're actually making more than the $400 that your insurance company will pay you, the difference up to 70% of your gross will come from that other responsible driver that put you in the position that you're in now.
It's great to know that from that. Really, it becomes a really affected situation if you don't have that coverage. If you are at fault, I mean, today more than ever, Mary, you can correct me if I'm wrong, if you are at fault for an accident, you are seriously injured, there's obviously very quickly cutthroat. There's very little available to these days, specifically with the changes. Now, we're going to go to, when I talk about significant or severe, we get onto, what we call the catastrophically impaired client. So from that perspective, that's where me and you engage more so on a business level, and that is obviously where we have to look at a client's need when the condition is permanent or catastrophic, as they define it within the statutory accident benefit schedule. Mary, from that aspect of the catastrophically impaired, someone who doesn't have a third-party claim, the tort or liability claim, I mean, I can only imagine someone who suffered a spinal cord injury or a head injury and they have no access to any other insurance. I mean, what is your strategy towards that? Like, in terms of, I mean, it must be very difficult for you to, sit down with the family and say, look, at the end of the day, we have this to play with. Yes, you're catastrophically impaired. How do you guys develop the strategies or a formula where it's beneficial? Obviously for you, I mean, you obviously have to get paid for what you do, but you obviously have an obligation to your client. What do you do in those circumstances?
Well, a lot of the times, John, when you have someone coming in with a catastrophic impairment, it's a very delicate issue. The family's life has been turned upside down. That individual life has been changed forever. And it's sensitive, right? So there may not be a case for us at law because, there's accident benefits and they do have $1 million in med rehab and the attendant care and all of the benefits that may be available for catastrophic impairment injuries. But it is what it is. Those people are going to swerve through and milk through that money because they need it. It's going to be used up so quicker than you can blink your eye. And the reality is for these people that once that money is used up, there's nothing left.
Oh, it's nothing.
If there's no third party to sue because, it's an unfortunate accident, and it's, there's no one really, at fault or to blame, there's not really much recourse.
Yeah. So we're obviously, I want to let the viewers know where we get involved with personal injury law firms like DeRose Personal Injury Lawyers is on the home modifications, and obviously through Drive Lab, through the driver vehicle modification or driver rehabilitation. A lot of the times, and obviously to expedite, and this is what Mary and her group have done, is more so now is develop the strategy of doing a housing assessment. Look, guys, $500,000 for med rehab is all that someone with without a third-party claim has. So obviously having a housing assessment done, like an audit of the home and developing a cost, will provide that exposure to the insurance company. Think like, look, you know what? We're hitting this exposure before a year time. And with the legislation, Mary, obviously, correct me if I'm wrong, you can't settle an accident benefits claim prior to a year date or the anniversary date of the accident, correct?
That's correct, yes.
So, obviously there are tools in place that law firms like DeRose lawyers are using, and that is, how are we going to create that exposure, or not create, how to define and show the exposure to the insurance company. That's the responsibility for myself and Mary included, is to obviously educate the adjuster. The adjuster is there to take the information and make it valued, and the insurance company a valued decision on what happens. So a lot of what we do is we do the assessments with Mary. Mary's referral through the occupational therapist, through the case manager, what have you, and we provide them a report. And at that point, they can go and present it to the insurance company and say, look, here's the thing, here's the amount. So Mary, I said, I understand that you guys are leaning more towards obviously expediting the process. I would suspect now, under those circumstances, knowing with the third-party claim, you are looking to be very aggressive in the initial stages of a claim in order so you can minimize I would suspect, the cost and disbursement portion of the file to mitigate, because typically now these files are staying open for 3, 4, 5, 6 years, some of them longer. You would have more knowledge on that. So I would suspect there's going to be more of an aggressive approach to your file handling at this point.
There would be, from the moment that individual leaves the hospital, we step in. Legal team and medical team is put into place immediately almost, so that we can help assist our client from the hospital into a home that is safe. As soon as we do that, we get, occupational therapists in place. If there's a need for speech language pathologists or rehab support workers or personal support workers, everything is put into place so that person can live as normal life as they can, and safely. And yes, we tread carefully with how we spend this money, because we realize at the end of the day that the money is going to be literally used by the injured person because of all the types of services that they're going to need. And home modifications, John, as you know, can be a pretty penny. So luckily, with that $1 million available to catastrophic impaired individuals, that's where they use that money to basically make their life somewhat better again.
So is that where you would expedite the process? Because we know the third-party process, the liability tort claim, can take a fairly lengthy period of time. And I know that money is not readily available like your primary coverage. Like primary coverage, folks, I'm just letting you know, they pay you. A treatment plan is submitted, expenses are submitted, a form acknowledging employment, so you can get paid your whatever $400 minimum or whatever. If you opted for optional benefits, you can get what you paid for up until $800,000 a week if you got the optional benefits. But the tort claim, Mary, there's no ready money available right away. It has to be proven. You have to meet the threshold, as we discussed. If you have to give a time frame, how long before you actually be able to submit that claim against a third party, in order to, obviously you have to have information in front of you in order to present it to that third party insurer, so that you can be very successful in retaining money from a tort perspective. And what is the time frame there?
So the law allows you 2 years in which to sue for pain and suffering against the at-fault vehicle, which ultimately it's the insurance of that vehicle that responds to the claim. And yes, you're looking at, liability. Is liability an issue? Does it have to be fought? If it has to be fought, it does make these claims a lot longer. So it just depends on a lot of things, really. For example, if the individual has a situation where they're contesting, a red light, green light situation, and liability becomes a problem. Well, that's something that has to be fought. It has to be litigated. We have to try to fight that, because without that, the person A may not be entitled to the pain and suffering claim, or the person may be found partially at fault, in which case then whatever their damages are worth are going to be reduced by that percentage of fault that they have. So
yeah, it becomes
it could take anywhere between 3 to 5 years before any case and any money is seen from the at-fault tortfeasor, we call them.
Oh, thank you for that, Paul. You know what? Before we go any further, I just want to know, we talk about everything that you're doing in order to affect, support your clients. I know you guys do a lot to support the community. What community responsibilities and endeavors? Because you guys are, guys, I can't begin to tell you the amount of support this firm gives its community and how they give back. And that's so important, and they're so entrenched in their surroundings. Mary, what are you guys doing right now in the community to support? I know you guys get involved with the hospitals with spinal cord injury, Ontario.
Yeah, well, we've recently donated to the new hospital as a form of giving back.
Which new hospital is this?
The Humber River. We've donated significant amount of funds to the Humber River to help get it up and running. We also participate yearly in the Ontario Spinal Cord Association Wheelchair Rally, which we're a part of every year, and every year we take home the cup, and I'm proud to say that. We raise enough money to support and to help fund the foundation. So, we're always out and about looking to sort of get in there and just give back to our clients, to our community.
Oh, that's great, Mary. Look, I think me and you can go on and on. We've reached the end of our show, so to speak. So, Mary, I want to thank you very much for coming on air, coming in, giving the information that people need to hear. Really, it's tough info, but you need to hear it. Things have changed. Please speak to your brokers. If you need to speak to someone, if you need to contact Mary, please do so. You can follow them at DeRose Law _ on Instagram, at DeRose Personal Injury Law Firm on Facebook. Their URL website, www.deroselaw.ca, or you can contact Mary directly at mderose@deroselaw.ca. Mary, thank you again for the information provided today. I appreciate it. The viewers appreciate it. And folks, if you need the support of someone for personal injury, whether it be a motor vehicle accident, slip and fall, medical malpractice, you guys do as well, Mary?
That's right.
That's right. Perfect. I knew it was right. I just wanted to make sure that I was onto something. So, guys, we'll come back right after the short break and wrap it up for the day.
Hello, I'm Lawrence with New Bandage Technology, and we're here with Brian.
Hi, my name is Brian Frost. I'm a physical therapist with core rehabilitation and sports medicine. And we're here with Sophia. Sophia's been using the new bandage technology. Here she's a post-op ACL reconstruction about 3.5 to 4 weeks out from her surgery. And I've really seen the new bandage has made a dramatic impact in its recovery time, allowing to accelerate her recovery speed and get her back into the exercises that are more functional for her, thereby allowing her to regain her muscle use and activation. The biggest thing that's done for her is that it's minimized the swelling post-operative and allowed her quad muscle to stay active, so that we didn't have to spend the first 4 to 6 weeks of therapy reactivating the quad and stabilizing the knee. We've been able to do that in with just a few sessions, and it also gives her that compression that she needs so that she can move forward with these exercises. And that's exactly what you would want from a device like this.
Brian, thanks so much.
Absolutely.
It's been a pleasure working with you.
Thank you.
Lawrence Rinke with New Bandage Technology, and we're here today in Boca Raton, Florida, with Willie Snead IV, number 83 from the New Orleans Saints, wide receiver. And Willie bruised his knee and sprained his knee about, 4 weeks ago? Yeah, 3 weeks ago. You've tried our new bandage, our high-impact bandage here recently over the last few days. And your first impressions?
First thing I just felt the automatic support that I was looking for. I know when I take my knee, I had support, but I didn't have mobility. That was the problem. So, like right when I put this on, I felt the mobility, I felt the support all in one. And that's really what I needed for my knee at the time. Now that you've introduced me to the new bandage, it's like, I want to wear this all the time. So, I mean, even with the different versions, you got the heavy duty with the padded, you got the light finesse, and you got the change up. It's like, it's all good. It's a really good product.
With new bandages, there are no pressure points. There are no long taping sessions. It's an easy on and an easy off. And you can adjust it easily to place it exactly where you want. And you got the ultimate comfort and support. So I'm looking forward to watching you in the rest of the season. You're doing a great job. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Folks, welcome back. And again, I want to thank Mary DeRose of DeRose Personal Injury Law Firm for coming in today and giving us the information on what's happening in the personal injury, more so specifically the motor vehicle accidents. We didn't get a chance to talk more specifically on other parts of the business, so I'm pretty sure we'll be able to get Mary back on camera soon. I know the rest of the family kind of gun shy, but Mary's a good sport and was really good with us today and to give us the information that we needed, you need, in order to make an educated decision about your support. Okay, so from that perspective, you need to follow us on Roku, check it out live. We're gonna be with Comcast, guys, in Connecticut. We're taking on the States, guys. We're coming for you. We're gonna go across this country, hopefully get this message across to everybody about the Disability Channel, about accessible daily living. Guys, I want to wish everyone a happy new year. Be safe, be kind to one another, help each other to live a safe and loving life. All right, guys, thank you very much. And from all of us here at Accessible Daily Living, at the Disability Channel.ca, from Jay Stoyan and all the group, we want to wish you everyone a prosperous new year. Thanks, folks. Until next time. Great one.